Hi, welcome. My name is Nicole, and I wanted to come and talk a little bit about spiritual warfare and how it is important to have specific things when you are getting ready to engage in spiritual warfare. And I also wanted to touch on, before I get into that, how important it is for us to engage in spiritual warfare when we know that the enemy is fighting against us. We know that the enemy is fighting against us. Whether we are noticing certain things that are taking place in our lives, God has given us certain dreams, or He's spoken certain things to us in regards to that, warnings to let us know that the enemy is currently attacking us or about to attack us. It is very important that we never brush that off. It is very important that we never overlook it. We never cower down to it. It's very important that we not act nonchalant about it at all. We are to gird ourselves up and fight at all times. Now, when it comes down to warfare and our part in engaging in spiritual warfare, there are some key things that are really important for us to know when we are going into warfare or engaging in spiritual warfare. And they are both coming from Ephesians 6:11-12. And it says, one of the things, Ephesians 11, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So it is very important that we equip ourselves with the whole armor of God when we are planning to engage into spiritual warfare. That is very key. You want to always have on the whole armor when you're going into warfare, because each part, each of our protection, each part of the armor, it's for a certain reason. So it is very imperative that we always equip ourselves before we go into spiritual warfare with the armor of God. And then the second thing would be in Ephesians 6:12, which says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, this is very important, because when we are fighting, we should always be engaging in spiritual warfare from the spiritual realm, from the spiritual aspect. We should not be retaliating or coming against the enemy in the physical. Everything we do, or whenever spiritual warfare is aimed at us or whatever, it starts in the spiritual realm first. So it is always important for us to fight in the spiritual realm and to never retaliate or attempt to fight in the natural. It is never good for us to physically attack certain situations. It's never good for us to act out of anger or anything like that when it comes to spiritual warfare. It is spiritual warfare for a reason. And it is to engage spiritually, because we're not fighting against, in some cases, the people that are actually, aiming these arrows against us or casting these spells or whatever against us. It's always coming from a spiritual aspect. It's those, whatever's operating in those people. So you are to attack that. The spirit, the demons, whatever that's operating in that person. You are never to engage physically or attack physically a person in a natural. And this is very, very important to remember, because if you want to overcome or come out on top and be victorious in the fight, you are to always remember that we're not wrestling against the flesh and blood, but against the principalities, the powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, the things that are operating in these people, and the things that are behind the things that are operating in these people. There's powers of darkness that are actually influencing these people to attack you or to do the things that they're doing to you. So if you are engaging in the natural, you will never be victorious. It's a must that you attack it in the spiritual realm before you do anything else. And again, when you are in war or dealing with spiritual warfare, it is always, always, always imperative to remember that it's the spirit realm. Spiritual is all spiritual. It's spiritual, and you are to engage in spiritual warfare through the spirit realm, through, warfare prayers, through worship. Worship is a very, very strong warfare weapon. So that is something that you should always want to engage in spiritual warfare with. So, so I hope that this helps. And one more thing, I want to put emphasis on the fact that it is never a good idea to ignore it. It's never a good idea to just be nonchalant about it, brushing it off. You want to always shut it down, because if the enemy feel like you are, or the way the enemy sees it is that, they could play with you. They can play in your face. They can do whatever they want to do to you, because you're not going to fight back. And you never want to give the enemy any ideas. In that sense, you want the enemy to know that whenever he decides to come up against you, whenever they decide to come up against you, it's going to always be a fight. And you have to get the enemy to realize and to fear you in a way to know that you are a warrior, and that whenever they come up against you, you are going to engage, and you're not going to stop until you defeat them. So I pray that this bless someone. And until next time, you have a good one.